Hey guys, Wolvie here with a special presentation for the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia Global for the 24th, I think it is? The 24th of February 2020. If you're in or near the United States, this will be the 25th of February 2020 everywhere else. This is going to be a little bit of a news/opinionated piece from me. And this is going to be about the upcoming calendar with March content for the global side of the game. And some people have been mentioning certain things here and there. But, I just want to make some clarifications, for what I've been reading on Facebook and all that stuff. So, like I said, this is going to be a bit of a preview of the calendar, what I think of certain things, because there is a bit of a quality of life aspect where it came earlier than expected. And, like I said, it's going to be opinionated where, I'll give my thoughts on just about everything. So, I'll be back talking once we get to the home screen. I am back. Before we get into information news-wise, we're going to go straight into the maintenance notice right here. It says here on the 26th of February, 2020, from 2 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. UTC. As a reminder, the UTC time zone, I forgot what that stands for. This particular time zone is close to the United Kingdom. The reason why I know this for a fact is because although it's not as much now as it was before, I would have interactions with somebody I know who lives in northeastern England, and I know the time zone difference is roughly between 5 to 6 hours, depending on the daylight savings time aspect here in my area of the United States. And for me, I'm in the Central Standard Time Zone, so this would be 8 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on the 25th of February. So this could be a minor maintenance sort of thing, half an hour, no big deal for me. So that's on the maintenance stuff. And then the first part I want to get into regarding the March preview calendar is going to be what we're excited to get from the stream rewards-wise. It's going to be 1 Power Stone, 20 draw tickets, 10 armor tokens, and 3,000 gems. Standard operating procedures there. So, we're going to go into the February calendar. My bad. I think I hit something on accident. I wasn't supposed to. But anyway, we're going to go into the February calendar because part of the February calendar actually goes into the March calendar. What are you referring to, Wolvie? You might be asking. See if I can find it. Hopefully they still have it. Okay, it looks like they don't have it, but I can assure you that, and this is on the their official Facebook page as well as their official Twitter, that at the very bottom of the February calendar, there was something called Heretic Quest, and there was something to its left noting the blue stone and the blue fragment icons. Well, there is confirmation that later on this week is going to be wave 8 of the 70 Awakenings, meaning that the following gets their 70 Awakenings in this particular wave, who are Yuri from Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Onion Knight from Final Fantasy 3, Ash from Final Fantasy 12, Raijin from Final Fantasy 8, Prish from Final Fantasy 11, and Catherine from Final Fantasy 6. Now, here's the thing with this particular wave. It's like, let me reword this a little bit. So Yuri actually gets his rework and the debut of his EX weapon, which is realizable. Now with Onion Knight, is just his EX weapon being realizable. However, he gets an alternate costume and it looks adorable. I probably will be getting it, just not right away, due to varying other real life obligations. So anywho, on the 3rd of March, and all the dates here are going to be UTC time zone, so you want to adjust it to your local time zone because you might be ahead of it, you might be behind, and I know I am the latter, so I'm going to be the 2nd of March, which should be next Monday, is going to go live on Global, the Lost Chapter for Lulu from Final Fantasy X. She gets an EX realization alongside, which also debuts alongside her 7070 Awakening, alongside Jet and his EX weapon being realized. Now, going back to the Wave 8 a little bit, because I forgot to mention the date. So, if you're in or near the United States, it's going to be from the 27th of February to the 12th of March, 2020. Like I said, this local time zone I'm referring to, the 27th of February through the 12th of March, because I'm in the United States, and the dates of 28th February through 13th of March, that's UTC. So I'm already translating the time zone differential between where I live and the UTC time zone. Now, from the 6th of March through the 20th of March, again, that's UTC, which should be the 5th of March through the 19th of March. It's going to be the global debut of Kamala No from Final Fantasy XI. This comes with Shantoto's EX weapon being realizable alongside Shantoto's alternate costume. Now, with this particular event for Kamala No, it's going to be Lulu coming along as Lost Chapter Synergy. Now, if you're wondering, the other character is more than likely going to be Rydia, who I have ready to go. Anyway, so when it comes down in this part here, this gets really interesting because this is the quality of life aspect I've been mentioning close to the very beginning of this. So, the 11th of March, again, that's UTC, which is more than likely the 10th of March, is going to be going live on Global Ultimate Pandemonium. Now, while this is permanent, there are limited time aspects to it. And the limited time aspects to it, and this is a quality of life aspect that's come to Global quite earlier than expected, is a co-op both at the difficulty level 70 and the difficulty level 100. So that's one part of the quality of life that's come early. The other half of the equation is that here comes the expected synergy for Ultimate Pandemonium, being Edge from Final Fantasy IV, Freya from Final Fantasy IX, Vivi for Final Fantasy IX, Lion for Final Fantasy XI, Penelo for Final Fantasy XII, and Yashola from Final Fantasy XIV. The thing is here with this particular group is that Edge and Penelo, believe it or not, both get their 7070 Awakening. They also get a rework, and both of their EX weapons debut, which both are realizable. And there's more. Now, these 6 particular characters will also be added to the quote-unquote synergy for a limited time in every last Ultimate Esper trial. Meaning that if you bring Yashola as synergy to help with somebody during Ultimate Ifrit, during the times of the 11th through the 25th of March, 2020 UTC time zone wise, which should be the 10th through the 24th of March if you're in or near the United States. If you bring Yashola to either Ultimate Ifrit or Ultimate Shiva to help somebody, get somebody else's boards mastered, she's actually going to be synergy. If you brought in a completely beefed up Penelo to any of the Ultimate Esper trials, like Ultimate Ramu or Ultimate Leviathan, Ultimate The Brothers, during that time frame, she's going to be considered special synergy. That's how it works. And with the whole thing with the co-op for the level 70, level 100, this is actually one of those items that has come to Global much earlier than anticipated. And honestly, I like it. I like this particular quality of life coming early because it's a bit of like free resources for those who are free to play. Now, on the 16th of March, again, this is UTC time zone, is going to be, Global's going to go live the Lost Chapter for Lan and Rain from World of Final Fantasy. This features the twins, Lan and Rain, because they're considered one unit. Alongside Edgar, not only do they get their rework, They also get their 70-70 awakening, and their EX weapon becomes realizable. Now, on the 19th of March, and I forgot to get the end date for this, so the 19th of March is going to be the global debut of Ciaran from Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. The twins become Lost Chapter Synergy. Lale gets his rework and EX plus realization. Let me pause the video for a moment so that way I can get an idea of the end date. So hold on. And I am back. So it appears to be the 19th of March through around the 2nd of April. Again, this is UTC where this event goes on. Again, this is Ciaran from Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, his global debut. This will have Lale and Kryle as Synergy alongside the twins, Lon and Rain, as Lost Chapter Synergy. Once again, this has Lale's rework, his EX weapon becomes realizable, and the return of his alternate costume. And there's more. Now, there's a particular part of my notes I'm going to be skipping for the moment because I'm going to try to do this a little bit more in chronological order. Now, from the 23rd of March through the 14th of April, again, UTC, which should be the 22nd of March through the 13th of April, is going to be a spring festival for Global. And there are various things coming along and by that, gem sales, a support item sale, meaning that, let me grab this real quickly. So you're going to be seeing a lot of these books of whatever, relic of whatever, artifacts of all knowledge, and the tomes. These are going to be the 15-minute versions instead of the 30-minute versions that we've been used to for so long. So we're getting support item sale. Now the free multi, I read a comment on Facebook that one of the free multis is going to be with a Wave 9 of the 70-70 Awakenings. However, there is a clarification that needs to be made here. We do not know if that's actual fact. And the reason why that is that during the stream, there was no indication on that particular wave stating that there is a free multi involved. Now, granted, there are free multi-pulls coming along because there's going to be a separate co-op for the Spring Fest. We just don't know which banners are going to get the free multi-pull. We also don't know the number of banners that will have the free multi-pull. So we could have the particular wave in question not have the free multi involved. Now, outside of the whole thing with the separate co-op, there's going to be a limited time version of Abyss because the final version of Abyss is still in the works. So we just don't know. We just don't know exactly when the final version of Abyss is going to go live on Global. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when the beta version is finally removed, all that stuff. Now, the daily mission rewards times 3, what we've been seeing here on Global this month so far, that's going to continue on from the 23rd of March, which should be the 22nd of March for those in or near the United States like I am. Now, we have the Cycle Quest rewards double, that's going to continue on during the specific time frame. Now, so when it comes to panel missions, there are some coming up for the month of March, so that's that on that. So, on the 27th of March, should be the 70-70 Awakening Wave number 9. They did mention this in the stream, and this is going to be yet another raid. And this is going to have the 70-70 Awakenings for Papalimo for Final Fantasy XIV, Sid for Final Fantasy VII, Snow for Final Fantasy XIII Trilogy, Kane from Final Fantasy IV, Quistis from Final Fantasy VIII, and Seymour from Final Fantasy X. And I do want to point out that Papalimo and Seymour not only get their reworks here, they also get their EX weapons realized, which is exciting to see. There's a little diverse here, there, all that good stuff. So, now, what do I think about all of this? Now, the whole thing with the free multis, I do want to reiterate this because Again, I caught a comment on Facebook who actually recapped the stream. We don't know which banners are going to get the free multis because it hasn't been confirmed on the stream. Now, I recall I actually rewatched the slides aspect of the stream, and I did not see anything for the free multis for Wave 9, aka Quistis Snow, all that stuff. And then for those wondering about Snow, when he's going to get his EX is actually in a lost chapter for Sync from Final Fantasy Type 0. And that's when it comes to her particular lost chapter, Snow gets his rework, EX weapon debut, and it being realizable alongside his alternate costume. So for those who are Snow fans, you got some time to wait for that to come along. Now, this does open the door for April's calendar. What will Global decide to do with Beatrix? Because you have Freya's lost chapter, and the bigger question is, will we get a rerun of Beatrix's event, which should have all the rewards reset? Because Beatrix's JP synergy actually differs than the global synergy when Beatrix was the first character to be a global first unit a year ago. So this is where the month where Global has the most interesting decision on their hands. Now, we don't know what Beatrix's lost chapter is going to look like because it's not on JP as of yet. However, I personally will not be surprised if they rerun the event. And they reset varying rewards, meaning that those who missed out on her the first time will get everything, gems, all that stuff. And for those of us who have had her from her being global first, we just may have, some other type of reward or other things in its place. Now, with that out of the way, I think, like I said, when it comes to Facebook, I do have a Facebook page. It's under a pseudonym. So someone mentioned that Lightning's EX realization is coming in the month of May. Now, knowing that waves 8 and 9 are going to be in the same month, calendar-wise, with the calendar being March, don't be surprised if April at some point has Wave 10, and Wave 10 is the final wave of 7070 Awakenings, which does feature Lightning's EX realization, as well as the reworks for Shadow and Hope, Shadow being from Final Fantasy VI, Hope from Final Fantasy 13 Trilogy. Those two get their 7070 Awakenings, reworks, and an EX realization. Now, the thing here is that for those of us who remember the earlier waves of 7070 Awakenings, we all remember how we had Wave 1 at the end of August of last year. Then a few weeks later was Wave 2. Now, because of that, paying attention at certain points is that looks like Global is going back to doing things the global way, meaning that pushing, varying things up, accelerating things a little bit. Now, I do want to mention here the whole thing with Tier 8 of Dimensions and Entropy. There is going to be a change to the plates, meaning that the only way you can retain the Platinum plate is you have to perfect all 8 tiers when the 8th tier comes out around the 11th of March. If you're near the UK, in the UK, or east of the UK, or the 10th of March if you're in or near the United States. So there's going to be a bit of change to that, so you have to make sure you have to be on top of everything, so to speak. So, and outside of all of this, it's like, it does appear that the accelerated pace is starting to make a comeback. It's too early, in my personal opinion, to be certain of that. But knowing Global and trying to think like Global, anything is possible. I won't be surprised if this is a return of the accelerated pace. knowing that with the March calendar, you have both Wave 8 and Wave 9 in it. Meaning that it opens the door for Wave 10 to show up in April instead of May. But the question is when in April that happens, it remains to be seen because it could be mid-April, mid-late April, or April going into May. So that's it on that. My final thoughts, final conclusion. There's something I kind of caught on while I was looking up the slides. I caught a glimpse of a comment made by somebody like at the very end. And the comment was a response to another. So the original comment was, no, boasting the game, a good community, all that stuff. But the reply disagreed. The reply disagreed on the fact of, in regards of, there's some degree of toxicity within the community. And then the person disagreed on the default community being the best because of the varying degrees of negative energy. And I actually have to agree with that assessment. Because, and this is from personal observation, there is at least a few people who tend to assume things without asking, and that's a bad route to take in my opinion. Because if you're not asking the questions like, how many tickets you have, how much gems you have, are you saving for other units, that sort of thing. Without asking questions, assuming things is the worst route to take. Honest to goodness, because my apologies on that one, but you kind of notice the thing on my log, but I just want to, just do some reiteration of some sorts. But honestly, there is some toxic energy within the default community. That much I agree with. And for this community to really be seen as the best, we have to step up and change. And by that, be more willing to ask questions. Be more willing to be respectful of people's decision makings when pulling. And less assuming will actually help. And I just want to say this in a respectful, polite manner. Because I was looking at Google Play. The number of downloads for the Android side really hasn't changed in several months, maybe more than a year. But the question is, why is the growth slower than some people think it is? Does the toxic energy from some within the default community, is that contributing to the slow growth? There's so many questions to ask, and I simply don't have the answers. But when I saw that comment towards the end of the stream, meaning disagreeing with the fact that DFFOO is the best community due to the toxic nature within some of the community, it was a statement that I agree with. There is some within the community that are flat out toxic. And without us changing as a community, and by that, if we're still assuming things, if we're still not asking questions, if we're still pushing people to pull for certain banners, this community will never grow the way we want it. And without that respect, this game could very well die. And that's where I'm going to end this video. But before I end it, I do have hope for this community. That much I want to say. I have hope. I have hope that we can change. I have hope that we become respectful, more mindful to individual players instead of their situation. There's some of us where the situation is that we can't play as much as we want because of varying real life circumstances. There's some of us who lack the money to financially support the game. And that's okay. If you want to be free to play for whatever reason, be free to play. If you want to financially support the game, financially support the game. The decision is up to you, the individual player. And for some of us, trying to push certain ideologies onto others without realizing or acknowledging the consequences that comes along with it, this community will never grow to where we want it to be. And with news via the Night Sky Prince about the Cydia's future, DFFOO is actually going to be the last game of the entire Dissidia series due to the fact that there's going to be no more updates on Dissidia and T. There's going to be no console sequels to Dissidia and T, meaning that the pressure is now on us. We have to rise above, be more respectful, be more mindful. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Because the more assumption that we do, the quicker this game is going to die. But like I said, I have hope for this community that we can change for the better. And now I'm going to end this video. And now with Wolvie here, finally signing off, I will catch you all on the flip side.